Let's check in now with Jeff Batson and John Surabian, friends of the program. Oh God, why does this always happen to me? Maybe we have to call him twice. Maybe that's a thing.
Are you there?
Yes. How are you?
Hey.
Is this Jeff?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to add John. So
That's right.
if we can't, if we can't, I'll just talk to you.
No, I am totally patient. If you want to give it a shot, go for it. I will tap dance, as they say on my end. Is that hard to do? Are you there? Oh, maybe he's adding John to.
Who's here?
Hello there, Mr. Saturday Night.
Oh my God!
Are we all on here?
I think we have a quorum.
Oh,
I think we are.
Thank you so much. Because
I don't know. I don't know how in the hell I did that, but here we are.
You know what? It's like we just recently added the feature, thanks to Noah Britton, to do phone calls, but we're not quite there yet as far as like conferencing in. So thank you to both of you, and maybe you're not. You're on the phone, so you probably can't see, but both of your handsome faces are on the screen right now.
Come on. Tell us more, Mr. Saturday Night.
Well, you're amazing.
Mr. Saturday Night.
And by the way, both of you, not both of you, but everyone in chat, if you have a question for John or Jeff, please add it into chat. So,
I'm actually on my phone. I'm not able to like respond via chat. I'm like actually watching a co-writer do a show, but I came out to for this call so I could talk to you.
Oh,
so if I don't respond via chat, I'm sorry. It's not like I'm ignoring anybody.
No. Everyone in chat is welcoming you, friends of the program. Thank you so much. So Jeff, you moved to Nashville. What? I mean, not what. I mean, I totally get it. Where'd you move from?
I moved from the St. Louis area. I lived on the Illinois side of the river. I could see the arch actually from my house, but I lived in Illinois. But St. Louis area, and I moved down there. And you can say what, because sometimes I wake up and say what.
No, it totally makes sense.
27 years later, here I am.
So here's the deal. You are no stranger at all to songwriting. You have more than, correct me if I'm wrong, 40 songs in your catalog. Does that sound right?
Well, I have more than 40 songs that have been recorded by other artists. I probably have 400 songs in my catalog. But I think about 40, other artists have recorded songs of mine that are either on their independent, our major label records, or in a commercial, or that have been recorded. There's about 40 different recordings of my songs, but my catalog's probably more like 400.
Oh God. Hey John, thank you for joining chat as well. So Jeff, you have been nominated for, drum roll, a prestigious, and not everyone in the world gets, well, most people in the world don't get this, a prestige, easy for you to say, prestigious Grammy Award for your song "The Rock," released by Tracy Lawrence. Tell me about that.
Well, thank you, number one, and and I don't take that lightly. I co-wrote I started the song with my friend Aaron Schurz, and then we got kind of caught up and brought in a friend of mine named Tom Shepard. So there's two other writers on that song, and we wrote this song that we actually went to like a couple old churches, So if anyone ever goes out and listens to the song, it's about a church. You know, it's basically taking an inanimate object, a church, and it's kind of telling the story from the view of the church. But we went out and visited some old churches around Nashville and came up with this song. And, you know, I saw on the pitch sheet, I knew or had heard that Tracy Lawrence was going to record a gospel album. And I dropped a CD off at his office, and just a few weeks later, I got a call from him, the artist, not a representative. I got a call from Tracy saying that he was interested in the song. And, you know, it's funny, before the Tracy thing, it had been on hold for Randy Travis and Daryl Worley. So it's one of those songs, you know, when you have a bunch of songs, you know, you kind of know when one's a standout. And I felt like it was a standout because it had been getting some interest and activity around town. And then when everything else fell through, you know, and Tracy called me personally and told me he was interested in the song, I'm like, okay, and he said he had already talked to his church where he attended, the choir, about being on the record, singing some backgrounds. And that's kind of how that came about. And it just ended up happening. And it was like, you know, a blessing.
And nominated for a Grammy. Amazing. So you have shared the stage with a ton of other equally talented people. Like I don't know. I'll mention one that comes to mind that I'm going to be playing soon. Gary U.S. Bonds, right? And you traveled. You traveled the Department of Defense circuit in the Middle East, right?
I did a 30-day tour back, you know, it was post Desert Storm, but yeah, we went to Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Bahrain, the UAE, and then Diego Garcia, 30 days. And it was just, you know, that was probably one of the highlight of my musical career, just to go over there and bring a little bit of home to those guys and girls, you know, serving. And it was just that's such a cool experience.
Oh, God bless you. That's absolutely amazing. And I'm sure appreciated by your service women and servicemen. You wrote a couple of songs that have become like, what's the word I'm looking for? Anthems, if you will. Heroes both became anthems for their respected communities, right? Heroes and Don't Call Me a Hero. Tell me about that.
Well, Don't Call Me a Hero, it kind of came about because a friend of mine named Gary Levitt had, you know, he had become familiar with some of my music. And when there was a fire in Charleston, South Carolina, it was a furniture store fire, and nine firefighters perished. And he had heard some of my music and kind of knew, you know, I do write heartfelt songs, maybe topical. I don't know exactly what the word is, but he's like, you should write a firefighter tribute. And so I did. And, you know, Don't Call Me a Hero was the end product. And I mean, actually, it's funny. It's a good lead in because that's how I know and met John Surabian, the co-writer of Into the Grains. So
honestly, you should probably
met through that song.
You should probably pick better friends. No, I'm kidding. John,
come on now.
No, I love John. He is the best. He and I had an opportunity to hang out recently together. He's the best.
It was a low point, you know, but no.
Thanks, guys.
He's awesome. He's awesome, but John, why don't you tell them how like that whole our introduction and meeting came about?
Yeah, so it was a pretty interesting story. As you know, I'm a captain for a fire department right outside of Boston, and about 20 years ago or so, when I first met Jeff, I was actually in a fire and got a small burn on my face. So after the fire, I went down to the local CVS pharmacy and got some cream. And I met a woman there, and she goes, "Wow, I saw what you guys did there. You guys were like unbelievable. Have you heard of this new firefighter tribute song?" And she said a name, and I was like, no, I'll check it out, but didn't pay much attention. So I went home, and that's when AOL was a thing, and I did my dial-up and got online, and I just searched firefighter tribute songs, and Jeff's was the first one that came up. So I played it, and literally I'm still covered in ash and soot, and I find tears coming down my eyes because it was right on the money. It was like the most amazing song. So I got on and I messaged this Jeff Batson guy and said, "Just want to tell you I'm a firefighter, and this song was like amazing." A couple minutes later, I hit ding, the old AOL thing, and it's Jeff Batson saying, "Wow, I really appreciate that you appreciate it." And we went back and forth and started talking music, and we had some mutual interests, started talking on the phone, and then, we've been like, he's just been one of my best friends for the last 15, 20 years because of that song.
Are you telling me that honestly you didn't even know him prior to that?
That is correct. I never met him, never even heard his name.
Music is such a universal language and such a connector, Mike. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Let's talk about two songs that are kind of in the news, certainly on the music charts right now. So, "Come On Sunshine" is a song, Jeff, you wrote and performed that just hit, correct me if I'm wrong, number 25 on the weekly, is it A1A charts? Does that sound right?
The A1A radio chart. Yeah, it's a trop rock chart. And that's one of those songs that has been around for me. I recorded it just a few months ago, and there's a previous version with my duo that I did called Batson Haynes that's out there, but I re-recorded it for the Eclipse earlier in 2024. I thought, what a cool song to have around for that, and so I did. And my friend Jenny Foley put her, who was like a super fan and friend, and she sent it out to a couple trop, because it's got a kind of trop rock kind of feel. So she sent it out to a couple stations, and it's starting to get some legs, to get some interest in airplay. Like I co-wrote the song with a guy named Aaron Ratieri, who actually is a Grammy winner. He wrote a song that's in the Star Is Born. He wrote a song that Lady Gaga did in the Star Is Born remake. So he's a great writer, talent. So I can't again take full credit for that, but he and I wrote the song. It was one of those weeks in Nashville where it had rained every day for like 7 days, and we got together at his office down on Music Row, and I don't know, I was looking out the window, and it's like, what are we going to write? Well, man, it's been raining. Look, there's the sun trying to peek out, and that's kind of where the idea started.
Oh, God.
But the song that was in the soundtrack, the Lady Gaga song, was called I'll Never Love Again. Great song. And he won a Grammy for that. But, yeah, great song. He's just a great artist, He's a trip. I ain't going to lie. He's awesome, though. But we came up with that song, and it's starting to,
It's got legs.
It's got legs, and it's a fun, feel-good song. So I'm very proud of it. But
hey,
I bet I know the other song you're going to mention.
Maybe. So today is Saturday, and which brings us full circle to you and John, of course, together. Today is Saturday, so on Monday you wake up and what? Not that it's a surprise. In fact, I think I posted that on your site. But you were number one with a bullet, as they say, on the country charts in Europe. So with End of Green. So tell me about that. And number two, or part B of the question is what the hell do they know that we don't? I mean, Europe, come on, let's go. It's awesome.
Well, you know what? I mean, well, that song will tell. I'll tell you the story about that in a minute. But I mean, I've honestly never like played music in Europe, and I don't know. But from what I understand, they just have a different. It's not as categorized. It's not as, you know, um, I guess category specific, which is kind of the same thing. But
Sure.
I, don't ask me how song. This friend of mine again, Jenny Foley, introduced me to a gentleman named Nick over there in Italy, and you know, I'm one of his featured artists on his. He's got a podcast called Whiskey and Cigarettes Show, and we decided to pick a song to kind of promote, and it just kind of got legs over there. And it's a song, you know, I mentioned I have several hundred songs, but I don't know, man. John came to me with this idea. Well, you know how we met. We met probably 20 years ago or so through the Firefighter song, and we had talked about writing a song, talked about working on some music for years and years, and it just never kind of happened. And then I don't know, a year ago or so, he told me about this idea he had, and his original idea was, you know, I'd rather leave this world with empty pockets and a smile on my face. Like, you know, do it. Like, smile. You know, because life's short. I mean, we've all got stories we could tell about people that have gotten sick and passed away or are no longer with us. You know, kind of quickly, and it's like you never really know, because all we're really promised is the next breath we breathe. And so he had this idea, and that was the original title. And you know, he had bought a car. And was having some buyer remorse. And then not long after that, one of his high school friends passed away. And he's like, you know what? Screw it. It's like, life's short. Life is short. I'm just gonna do it and like enjoy every whatever amount of time's left. And so we kind of started trading some ideas and lines and back and forth via email, and he had plans to come to Nashville, and I'm like, well, you know what? Let's get together, because I mean, doing the virtual writing thing is okay, and
Sure.
I've done plenty of that, but there's nothing like being in a room with somebody, you know, that there's just that whole vibe thing, like being able to read body language and like look in somebody's eyes and like bounce this off somebody. It's like, I don't know. I like the personal thing. So we got together, and I don't know, the idea kind of went from, you know, empty pockets with a smile on my face to Into the Grains. I don't know. That kind of dropped out of the sky, honestly. Like, you know, because your life is not necessarily defined by the grain on the bottom of the hourglass, but you know, especially if there's still sand on the top, you've got time to make amends or do things or live, you know. But John,
That
I know
is
I'm talking way more than
no, no, no. I was
more than
just, I would say that is totally the vibe of this whole show. Is kind of like, you know what? Like tonight we're young. Tomorrow, let's not worry about that. Let's worry about tonight. John, anything you want to add?
No, it was just, I mean, it was amazing to have an idea and give it to Jeff and, you know, sit in a room with a professional, because I'm not a songwriter, as you know, but I guess I am now because we wrote a song that finally hit #1 in Europe. So
Yay!
I guess I could call myself a songwriter. But no,
you can call yourself a songwriter.
So
you know what? You know what? A song begins or can begin in a lot of different ways. It can be a musical hook. It can be a hook. It can be an idea. And without a great idea, which is what you brought me, there's no song. So you're absolutely 100% like a huge part of that song, because there is no song without that idea.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's that. Just asked also about it, and they asked, you know, if if it just kind of flowed, if we knew that was it. Well, not really. We started out and, it was great to be part of the process. Well, let's make it a little harder. Let's go slower. Let's make this emphasis here. Let's change the words here. And it was like a baby. You nurture it, and it's completely changed at the end than what it was at the beginning. And it gave the same message that we wanted to get through, but in a really, magical way. It was fantastic to be part of it, and I'm really honored.
We are
as a songwriter.
No. Go ahead, please.
Well, for me, trying to. You have a radio show, so up-tempo songs get played on the radio more, and it's hard to write an up-tempo song sometimes, and it's even harder to write an up-tempo song that has some substance and that says something. And that's the one thing I'm most proud of with this song. It's like, okay, yeah, it's up-tempo, and commercial-wise, it's like 3 minutes long, but you know what? Man, it says something. It's like, it speaks to people, and that's just been the coolest thing for me.
That's the best. We're gonna be posting. By the way, we have a new YouTube site where we will post this interview in its entirety. We will be posting through social media all of the links. John, you want to give a plug quickly for your podcast, Musicians and Beyond?
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity, Mike. I have a podcast on the side called Musicians and Beyond, and I'm fortunate enough to have some contacts in the music industry, and we have interviewed some of the biggest names in the world. People from Billy Joel, Whitesnake, Cher, and the list goes on and on. So if the listeners would please go check out Musicians and Beyond and check it out. We're on all major platforms as well as a YouTube channel. That would be appreciated.
Sure. So before we leave you, gentlemen, we're going to play a game of celebrity. This particular, you remember the song "We Are the World," right? Kind of a collection.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Of course.
So
I just watched the documentary on that.
Did you?
Not long ago.
So these are some of the musicians in that "We Are the World," and the question. There's a couple of questions, and you can collaborate together. So here's some celebrity questions. Who were the two blind singers in that video? Do you remember?
Stevie Wonder and wow. Ray Charles was still alive.
Bam! We got a winner. Ding, ding, ding. Awesome.
There you go.
All right. So this is kind of a dead or alive question. James Ingram.
Dead or alive?
James Ingram, dead or alive?
I'm not sure. I could Google it and make it sound like I'm smart.
That's cheating. That's cheating. I think he's still alive.
I'm going to go with dead.
Sorry, yeah.
Oh,
all
he's
right.
dead?
Yeah, sorry. Sorry to give you the news. How about Ray Charles?
He's deceased.
Okay, there you go. Kim Carnes.
He's alive.
There you go. Bing, bing. Bob Geldof.
Ooh.
I think he passed away.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, he's still alive. And finally, of course, is Diana Ross, who is
deceased.
Still alive. All right, listen.
I'm not good at this.
Gentlemen.
Hey, man,
I can't.
we're just songwriters. What do we know?
I cannot thank you enough. Please take us out with an introduction to the song that you both co-wrote, the #1 song currently in Europe with End of Grains. Please introduce it.
John,
All right.
do it.
All right.
You have your podcast. You're used to introducing songs.
Absolutely. You are listening to Mr. Saturday Night, and this is Jeff Batson with Into the Grains.
Oh, God. Thank you, guys.